Yes, eternity is now breaking into time. That time that seemed lost, the promises that felt too far away, the prayers you even forgot you made. A movement is happening, not a loud one, but a gentle wind, touching the spirit of those who still wait, even when they're tired. Do you feel it? Even without understanding, even without seeing, something inside you has begun to stir. It's not just an emotion, it's a calling, a divine whisper saying, get ready, because the Lord, am hurrying the promises. Maybe you're looking at your life and can't see anything new at all. The same bills, the same pains, the same questions. But God is saying, while you just wait, I am already working. You know, faith doesn't always show up in leaps, in shouts, or public celebrations. Sometimes it's silent. It's when you wake up and decide to try one more time. It's when you pray without feeling anything. It's when you love without getting anything back. It's when you forgive without recognition. This is faith, and this faith is exactly what activates the supernatural. God hasn't forgotten you, even if everything inside you believed that lie. Even if circumstances tried to convince you that the sky closed up, that your prayers hit a wall and fell to the ground. No, God has not forgotten. There are promises that were buried, not because they died, but because time covered them with dust. You stopped talking about them, stopped dreaming about them, and even started to doubt if they were really for you. But the Lord is saying now, I don't need favorable time to act. I am the God who turns time into a miracle. What seems stagnant to human eyes is, in truth, a field being prepared by God for an abundant harvest. And do you know what's most beautiful? He won't just fulfill what he promised, but he'll do it at an accelerated pace. It will be so fast, you'll barely have time to understand what's happening before you start living it. Isaiah Y.P. echoes like a precise arrow. In its time, I will do this swiftly. This is the time of divine acceleration. God is taking the seeds you cried while planting, and he's commanding them to sprout all at once. If you heard this message now, it's no coincidence. God is realigning your mind so you're prepared. When the heavens open over your life, when everything seems dark, but God whispers, get up and run with me. Yes, you are tired. Yes, there are days when getting out of bed feels like a heroic act. But believe this, what you feel now is not the end. It's the beginning of a silent turning point. God is calling you with the same tenderness recorded in Song of Solomon 2:13. Arise, my darling, my beautiful one, come with me, for now is the time to get up and run with me. Notice he didn't say, crawl, or come slowly getting ready. He said, run with me. Do you know why? Because he's already going ahead. God is in front of you, clearing the path, diverting traps, opening doors you didn't even know existed. Maybe you're saying, but I don't have the strength to run, Lord. And he answers, then come at your own pace. I don't need you to be fast. I just need you to follow me. You can walk slowly. You can go while crying. You can go with fear, but go with him. Faith isn't just believing, it's leaping. When nothing around makes sense, it's smiling with tears in your eyes. It's declaring victory with a broken heart. Have you ever felt like you were in an emotional freefall? Like your soul was being pulled into a hole of pain that no one sees? Well, that's the exact moment when faith needs to leap, not to escape reality, but to connect with the invisible. The Bible says that faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. And this certainty needs to be fed even when the body cries out in exhaustion. Even when the mind tries to sabotage the soul, God is inviting you to a leap. But this leap isn't physical. It's an inner leap. A leap from someone who says, I don't understand, but I trust. I don't see, but I believe. I don't have strength, but He is my strength. The desert is a portal, not a punishment. Sometimes the pain is so intense, you start to convince yourself it's your identity. You're no longer just someone who went through something. You feel like you are that thing. The rejected one, the abandoned one, the frustrated one, the forgotten one. But the Lord came today to undo that lie. The pain was real, but it doesn't define you. The delay was real, but it wasn't in vain. The wait was long, but it wasn't a waste. Everything you've lived through until now was ground being prepared, earth being broken, roots being removed, stones being pulled out. You planted in tears, and now God says the time for harvest has come. Psalm 126:5. Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. And the most impressive thing, you will harvest beyond what you asked for. Because God's time always brings something better than expected. You asked for healing, and He will give you purpose. You asked for comfort, and He will give you ministry. You asked for a fresh start, and He will give you a destiny. Have you noticed that the greatest encounters with God in the Bible didn't happen in palaces, but in the deserts? It was in the desert that Moses saw the burning bush. It was in the desert that Elijah heard the whisper of God. It was in the desert that Jesus overcame the devil and came out in power. And perhaps, in this moment of your life, all you see around you is exactly that. Desert, loneliness, lack, silence, emptiness. But it is in this seemingly dry landscape that God builds portals. Because the desert isn't punishment, it's a passage, it's transition. It's where you unlearn what the world taught you and start to depend only on God's voice. In the desert, He empties you of everything that isn't Him, so He can then fill you with everything that is only Him. The promise comes after the desert, but the power begins there, where there is nothing but He is. Waiting is not a punishment, it's training. It's where God teaches us to see with the eyes of the soul, to discern His timing, to trust when everything in us wants to give up. Waiting refines. Waiting silences the ego and exalts faith. Waiting doesn't weaken us, it strengthens us. Maybe you think you're late, that time has passed, that your miracle has expired. But God doesn't work with human clocks. He works with purposes. And when the purpose matures, His time manifests with power. Ecclesiastes 3:11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. You are not out of time. You are being formed in the exact time. And when His time comes, you will understand why yours took so long. A harvest beyond what you asked, for no one sees what you planted in silence. The nights you cried and still blessed. The days you had no strength, but still prayed. The times you were betrayed, but chose not to retaliate. But God saw, and everything seen by Him will be rewarded by Him. Matthew 6:2-6. Your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. The harvest comes not just for what you did, but for what you chose not to do. You didn't seek revenge. You didn't curse. You didn't get lost. You remained. And whoever remains, harvests. And the harvest that's coming now is not common. It is supernatural. It is a harvest of everything you forgot. But heaven did not. God loves to surprise, and often He acts suddenly. When everything seems the same, He changes everything. Are in an ordinary setting like any other, but heaven has already decreed, today everything changes. And you don't need to see signs. You just need to be sensitive, because God doesn't shout, He whispers. And only those who are silent hear. It is in the sensitivity of the soul that greater miracles are born. When you begin to realize that His presence is there, even if the storm hasn't ceased yet, this is the true miracle, having peace before victory, joy before harvest, rest before the answer. Life isn't always clear. Sometimes shadows approach and you feel fear. Anxiety hits, doubts settle in. But even in the midst of darkness, faith can ignite, not a noisy faith that demands signs, but a mature faith that rests in the invisible. Psalm 91:1. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. You are not alone in this shadow. God is with you, and He doesn't just protect you, He transforms you in that place. The shadow didn't come to destroy you. It came to show that even in the absence of light, there is a God who shines within you. God's silence is strategy. There are moments when God seems distant. You pray and don't feel Him. You seek and don't find Him. You cry out, and it seems nothing changes. But God's silence is never absence. It's strategy. While you think He is quiet, He is moving pieces you cannot yet see. He is aligning people, resources, situations. He is guarding you from hasty decisions. He is training you to bear the weight of the promise that will come. Do you know why? Because the miracle you long for will not be fragile. It will be strong, lasting, with a heavenly structure. And for that reason, it needs time to be formed. Don't confuse silence with abandonment. God never abandons His own. He simply acts where eyes cannot reach. There is a joy that doesn't come from what you have. It comes from who sustains you. A joy that needs no explanation, because it is born from the certainty that, despite everything, you are in His hands. Have you felt this? Your soul still tired, the problems still there. But out of nowhere, a peace invades, a lightness, a desire to breathe deeply and continue. This is God touching your spirit. It is eternity touching time. It is heaven saying, you are on the right path. Just keep going. This joy isn't emotional, it's spiritual. It blossoms deep in the soul and neutralizes anxiety, fear, haste. And it is this joy that renews your strength to walk one more day, one more time, one more choice. Nehemiah 8:10. The joy of the Lord is your strength. You thought it would come one way, but God used another. You expected it from one person, but it came through another. That's how He acts, to show that the one who fulfills isn't man, it's Him. Harvest is coming, and not the way you expected, because it is greater than your imagination. God heard even that prayer you made crying in the dark, without words, just with sighs, and He kept it for a specific time, and that time has arrived. You are about to live the more than you asked for, more peace, more grace, more answers, more purpose. Ephesians 3:20. Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. Now you look back and understand the pain was not in vain. The wait was not lost time. The tears were not ignored. Everything was molding you. Everything was pushing you closer to God. You wouldn't have prayed as you prayed if it hadn't hurt. You wouldn't have sought as you sought if you hadn't lost. God allowed the crisis to reveal your calling, allowed the wound to make you a healer, allowed the desert to give you authority. Today, you are not the same. You carry something that cannot be bought. You carry proven faith, and that faith moves mountains. God is hurrying His word in your life. The season has changed. You are entering a time of supernatural acceleration. Dormant promises are awakening. Locked doors are creaking open. Scars are becoming marks of purpose. Get ready, not because everything will be easy, but because you will be strengthened. Not because there won't be battles, but because now you know where your victory is. You are being called to run with Him, no longer to flee, no longer to merely survive, but to live with purpose, with authority, with peace. Isaiah 42:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. You waited, now you will fly, daughter. Nothing you went through was in vain. God is fulfilling what He promised, and He is doing it His way, in His time, with perfection. Eternity is now breaking into time, and this time is yours. Arise, breathe deeply, place your hand on your heart and say, I believe, I trust, I go forward. God is with you, and He never fails. If this message spoke to your soul, like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this. Comment below, I receive this season of promises, and subscribe to the channel to continue receiving words that heal, restore, and transform.